I'm just saying.
Stuff like that needs to be in your own name.
Because if you would become wise, what must you do first? Understand you're a fool, not how smart you are. Because you're smart, or keep your ass in turning point. Okay? I don't really care how much you know. I mean, it's not for me to judge. I'm not saying it like that. I'm just saying your efficacy at quoting these little symbols ain't gonna help you in itself. No matter how much theology you know or whatever, you're still sitting right there. So something ain't clicking. Okay? And it's not a cut against your intellect or all the stuff you know, but all your stuff you know got you sitting right there. You need to start learning what you don't know. That's the only place there's going to be any change or any growth or anything.
What would that be, knowing oneself?
Go find it. You're just trying to do it in your head. Go know. Go figure it out. Go experience who you are. Outside of this little fictional shit. You know, some of you think you crackhead. Some of you think you, where do I know you from, boy? Welcome home. That's what they said at Disney World. I went to Disney World one time and I saw these people come in because we stayed at the at those little resort things.
They're inside the park.
And it's back when I had money. And I walked in, you know, checking in at the Beach and Yacht Club. And I thought I was all something. And then somebody else walked in, they go, "Oh, welcome home." I said, "Oh, shit, I got to get that." So I bought a timeshare in Disney so I could get somebody to say, "Welcome home," when I came once a year. How retarded am I? Very retarded. For we all are retarded and fall short of the glory of God. That is only at that place that grace can operate. Grace cannot operate in your ego. And I just poke at you, baby, to try to, it's out of love. It ain't out of, not really love because I don't know you, but it's out of, it's fun or something, I don't know. Okay. So, what did we talk about last week? We talked about some primary things that our Christian church doesn't teach us about our doctrine in terms of political and economic stuff, in my opinion. We talked a little bit about how it started with God created, right? God owns the land. God gave us a trust. We don't own the land. It's repeated over and over again. But we are stewards or trustees. And God said, "Here's some seeds." And that's a really cool economic principle because I'd have to do the math, but you could go to your neighbor's garbage and get a tomato that they threw out that had 10 seeds or 1 seed. Okay? And in 90 days, that 1 seed would be worth $1 in real value. Because in 90 days, well, not 90 days, however many days, maybe a month, it'd be worth, because it'll be 4 inches high. Anybody ever bought tomato plants at Walmart? You know?
That was a little before my time.
What, tomato plants at Walmart?
They're still there. Inside joke.
Okay. But this is God's economy. Okay? As opposed to what we live in and we call money. But and so in a month you got nothing. For nothing you got it turned itself into $1 because then you could take it to somebody and who thought that was worth $1 or a seashell or whatever y'all trading, you know, bitcoins or whatever, or monopoly money. It's all the same. And then you could take that dollar and go buy. Well, I mean, if they're a penny a seed, you could buy 100 seeds. But just say you go to your neighbor's thing next time, and then another month, and you get a free one. But this time you let it grow for 90 days or so. In 90 days, or 2 months, or I forget the growth cycle, it would be about this high. It would have blooms on it. Y'all ever bought one of those kind of tomato plants at Walmart? Anybody? How much they cost? No, they cost about $15. Because they're in a 3 to 5 gallon plastic thing. And some of them even have little baby tomatoes starting on them, you know. So you can take nothing, do a little bit of work, tiny bit of work, and it creates value. You didn't create the seed, you didn't make the seed grow, all you did was put it in some dirt and make sure it got water. That's God's economy. Okay? Then, if you let it grow all the way, one tomato would have 100 seeds in it.
Probably.
And then you got 30 tomatoes through its cycle, or however many that is. 3,000 seeds from nothing. You take 10 of those and just do it times 10. Does this make sense? Yes, that's the economy of God. It's prosperity. And we don't own nothing. We're stewards. Right? If we believe the story. Another thing, and there's specific instructions about how to do money and be stewards of the land and all that kind of stuff. And it takes into account that some bad stuff happens, or we get stupid sometimes, and we may end up in debt and lose our inheritance or what we were entrusted with. And so every 7 years and every 49 years, there's Jubilee. And it all gets reset.
What's a jubilee?
What's a Jubilee? It's a Hebrew celebration, and it's also based on economy and politics. It says when you get yourself so in debt, because basically people lease the use of the land from each other, and if there wasn't a Jubilee, then the succeeding generations after a retard daddy was drunk all the time, lost all the shit, then his kids wouldn't have an inheritance. This is a way that I don't remember how many, I think it's every 49 years or something, everything goes back to the way it was. And so it's about freedom. It's about personal responsibility. It's about take care of the stuff. God gave us the seeds. And it's not just, because we talk about seed so much in church, it's those seed, we talk about words are our seeds, and that's true. Sowing and reaping. You're going to get hair on your hand from beating off so much. That's, that's not what that's about. It may be about that a little bit, but this is about something immediate and real. It's about real people living in a real world with a real God, understanding who they are, and that's where we kind of left off last week, is that the ultimate sin is not something that we can categorize now based on our culture. There's all kind of different things we call sins, but they're really just symptoms. They're not sins. Sins is more of an existential experience of being separate from ourselves and God, not some behavior we do on top of that. Because one person can quote a Bible verse in love, and another person can quote the same Bible verse using the same words and be an asshole. So the behavior itself is not the thing. Paul says all things are, what did he say? Permissible, but all things are not profitable. He said, If you're around fat folks, don't talk about eating hamburgers at McDonald's all the time. It may hurt their thing, you know. But he was talking about eating meat from sacrificed to idols. It's just meat, he said, but some people at offense. So just be careful about it. Eat the meat. You know, go to McDonald's. Whatever. That's what you want. Just don't go, hey, I can eat McDonald's, fat ass, you know. You know, but do it out of love or whatever. He said, don't be held to the cultural stuff. Because you're not created by culture, you're created by God. You know? So, God gave, His intention was prosperity, plenty, have more than enough, and have so much more that you can give some to the church. It's cool. You know, got you some windows and shit, whatever. Get you some new coffee makers, or, you know, if you want a big Orwellian kind of service, build a Highlands, and then you can have a big head talking to you when you're in Gadsden or something. And which is fine, whatever. I ain't mad at them. You know? I just get a little creeped out, because maybe just because I'm weird. I don't know. And I'm not dogging it. My son works for him, so I just tell him, watch out for the cult. Them security guards are kind of creepy. Or they call them ushers, but I think they're all packing. Which that's fine too. There's weirdos at church besides me.
The ultimate sin used to be blasphemy, didn't it?
And what is blasphemy? Saying, Holy Spirit, you're a bitch?
Yeah. Never.
No, that's not blasphemy. It's not, Holy Spirit's name ain't Holy Spirit. He's not like Holy J Spirit. That's, you know. John F. Spirit, you know. Holy John Spirit. It's,
Blasphemy has never happened in relationship to Christ.
blasphemy is saying, I created myself. I don't have a creator other than me. Blasphemy is speaking the profane into, you know, that would be experientially how I would describe it. We can get all theological and try to figure out if Adam and Eve had belly buttons or not, but, you know, who gives a shit, you know. Because the ultimate sin, baby, is refusing to understand, experience, acknowledge that you didn't create yourself. That you're fearfully and wonderfully made. You were chosen from before the foundations. And this little ego mask that you wear ain't you. You know, it's what we put on to go be in the world. And play our little roles like we did the Greek things. You remember we talked about the drama, the Greek drama and the persona and all that. Because literally, if you think you're a person, that literally the definition means you're fake. You have a mask on. You're playing a role. You're an actor. You're a good character or you're a bad character. And hopefully at the end of the story you'll learn your lesson. And Jesus will fly in on His holy cross and sprinkle Easter dust on you. Because our church, our culture promotes an idea of God and Santa Claus. It's all the same thing. Somebody watching you all day. It's kind of creepy. And if you're a good actor, you get to be on the good list. If you're a bad actor, you're going to get on the bad list. And if you act right, then you'll get a Red Ryder BB gun one day.
She tried.
Theologically, functionally, we got lots of ways we can talk about that, but that's how most folks understand what the Christian religion is. That may not be a very deep understanding of it, but that's what most folks, them hypocrites, they touch themselves in the shower too. You know, I ain't going nowhere. I'm going to hang out with the fish folks and touch myself over there, you know. So, it's what I'm I don't really know where I'm going, but the Christ story, the story of Jesus, is not some stained glass pie in the sky. One day something's going to happen, maybe, if you're a good boy. You know, some of y'all come up in church and been waiting on the secret since you started. You know, one day, by and by, when the morning comes. That's just like your school teaches you. That's just like your culture teaches you. Act right, do this, and you can go to the 3rd grade. And then you can go to middle school and be a big boy. And then you can go to high school, and then you can go to... And then one day you'll get a piece of paper, and then that piece of paper will let you go get a job. Any of y'all been salesmen? Are you good at it? If you're a good salesman, they don't go, oh, that's good, take a break. They bribe you. Well, here's some, you can go hang out with these hookers, or go, if you're not a hooker guy, you can go fishing with the boss, or just enough to get you out there, and then they raise your quotas and raise your quotas. And one day, if you sell enough, maybe.
You don't care what you did thank you for yesterday, what are you going to do today? That's it.
That's the game. That's the game. That's the monopoly. That's how we are programmed. Because in reality, there is no past and there is no future. It's all hypothetical. It's all a theory. Even when you're thinking about the future, you're in the moment. And you got your ass faked out to think you're out there somewhere. You're still right here. Which Jesus said, the kingdom of heaven is right there. Not out here in the mirror, not on our flow charts, not out on how many ribbons we get at field day at school. Not how many pictures we can post on Facebook, and that becomes more important than what was actually really happening. You understand that sentiment?
Yeah.
It's a fake. It ain't real. And so, and that's why we can't fix ourselves. Because we're trying to work on something that's out there somewhere. And really, we can't fix ourselves anyway, because we didn't create ourselves. Except that persona we wear. And the history we tell. You know? If you're pretty, you ain't had a damn thing to do with it. If you're ugly, you ain't got a damn thing to do with it. You don't get no credit and you don't get no fault. You just ugly or you're pretty, you know? Physically. You ain't got nothing to do with that. Why you know? Y'all know pretty boys, they think they something. Is that you?
That's me.
Okay. You know. I mean, you had no control of who your mama fucked.
That's right.
See?
Yes, sir.
I mean, I hope she was fucking.
Yeah.
You know, not just let's make love. You know? I hope there was shouting going on when you was made, baby. You know? Praise the Lord. I mean, what do folks holler when it's good? God! It's worship. I mean, in the Catholic Church, there's a, I don't know where I read it somewhere a long time ago, a prayer or part of a marriage ceremony when they talk about the mutual worship, finding God. But really. I mean, read the Song of Solomon, baby. You'll be touching yourself.
Is it a sin to touch yourself?
It's a sin for you to touch me. I don't, you know.
I ain't talking about touching you, I'm going to touch your baby.
I would think it would be a sin right now to get caught up in that when we're talking about much more important things.
But somehow, I don't know, it keeps going back to touching yourself. I'll leave there.
Talk to me after class, and we'll get into it a little more deep after class.
Don't touch yourself. Don't say anything in excess of yourself.
Well, I would think that in view of what I'm in view of the context of what I'm talking about, when you're touching yourself, where are you? In your head. You're imagining shit. You're lost in the imaginary world again. That would be the sin. Not your nuts producing some stuff and you squirting. That's just biology. You know, if you spend 6 hours at real dark, when it's real dark outside, downstairs in the basement, pulling on your pecker, I wouldn't call it sinful, I'd call it pitiful. You know, not in a judgment kind of way, it's just like, really? Because we'll get back to this and eventually I'll finish. The sin, the ultimate break, the thing that happened in the garden when they stepped out from under the authority or the I don't like the word authority because it has these weird connotations, their relationship with their Creator. And then God had to put a bandage we call time on it and say, here's the medicine. Now you got to work, fool. Now you got to wear fig leaves on your junk and be ashamed and hide. You forgot who you are. I mean, all through when the prophets would come through there, many times their sermons that they begin was, remember who you are. Remember your God that brought you out of Egypt and da-da-da-da-da. How many times I got to say this mess, you know, and over and over and over. Remember who you are. Why are you acting like these people? These people with kings and whatever. Which leads me to my next little thing. God's will for the people of Israel, according to the story, was that they be self-managing. That they prosper, they have good life, and live their life in relationship to their Creator. You know? And then y'all remember I told a story last week that people was like, we want a king, we want a king, we want a king. And the prophet said, y'all retarded. That was not God's will for those people to have a king. He tried to talk them out of it through his prophet. It was Samuel or whichever, Nathan, whichever one.
Samuel.
I mean, they did, it don't matter. So that wasn't God's will. Would y'all agree with that or not?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. But all we talk about is King David. And he was a gangster mofo.
Yep.
That somehow got to be called a man after God's own heart. It wasn't because he acted good, I promise that. Because kingship, earthly kingship, because basically to start a government, it's people going, govern us. We have problems, there's boogeymen out there, and whatever. And so they constitute this fiction, F-I-C-T-I. You know? And then they give it the authority. Right? Because the natural thing is you got God creates man. See if I can get this right. Man creates government. Government creates bureaucracies. How do you spell bureaucracies? One of them.
B-A-U-R-E.
The pen's broke. What? The earth is down there somewhere. Anyway, whatever. However that might work out. When you have a man-created system, it's just the opposite. Y'all think Donald Trump is running shit? What's running shit?
Rich people running him.
The system in place.
The bureaucracy. The beast is the bureaucracy. or the bureaucracy is the beast. Because they ain't even alive. Oh, and then, I mean, if you do the American thing, you have the, this is what I was trying to think of. Man, they create the states, and this is America, and then the states created a government, and then the government creates, and the bureaucracies work for both of them. Right? Y'all understand this from history? And the rights come from where? God. And the seeds come from where?
God.
Not Monsanto. I mean, I'm serious as hell. Because what Monsanto does is they tweak something, a seed or whatever, so that they can patent it with a little piece of paper and then claim that they are the owner of it. That's why it's important, I think, for folks, whether you're religious or not, or in the universe, when you take a God, a creator out of the whatever picture.
Equation.
There you go, that thing. Then it's whoever has the strongest claim is the owner. That's business. That's how it works. Okay, and the American folks, back when they was trying to do it right, had it like this. And they were supposed to serve, the federal government was supposed to serve the states. You know, anybody read those documents? Very limited powers. You know, it's just so weak. They didn't have telephones and shit, so, you know, whatever. And then the states were supposed to serve who?
Man.
Peoples. And man was a steward and serve or be in the relationship with God. Now, it's all backwards. And a lot of the prophets, I don't know if it's Isaiah or which one of them, but talked about how sad it is for nations when the servants become the masters. Y'all ever heard that before? I mean, it's the same stuff that's happening now. It's not new. We just got Twitter. You know? The bureaucrats run the feds and the money, you know, whatever. And money's what rules them all. And the feds run the states. You know how the feds run the states? They bribe the politicians with grants and subsidies and that don't really go to the people anyway. What's next? And the states own the men and the people. I hadn't looked at I know that some marriage license on the back of them, it tells you who owns the produce of this union. You know. And then when we have the produce, we go register them with the government, and they create a fictional corporation, and da-da-da-da. Okay? And this ain't conspiracy shit. This is what happens. But we were taught about global warming and Beyonce's big ass or Alabama football or whatever, or arguing over if Adam and Eve had belly buttons or if it's predestination or shit. And we are in service to this, to Caesar. We just don't call it Caesar no more. When Jesus said Caesar ain't no God, that was huge. Because the way Caesar operates is y'all can do your religion shit, I don't care. Pay your taxes and make sure I'm the boss. You know, you can have your fake God over there. But I'm the owner of all this, not God. I created this empire, not God. You know, it's just taking on different words like corporations and multinational stuff, whatever, it's the same old stuff. And we have become now the slaves of the masters. masters of the slaves. They call it like a hound services his bitch. They service us. And as long as we believe that we are this fictional thing, and I'm not talking, because belief and faith are very similar words. It's what you give yourself to, what you allow yourself to believe in, or it's not just have a mental assent. Yes, Jesus died on the cross for me. Pass the crack pipe shit. You know, I have all my theology in order, so let me go downstairs and put on my pecker a while. Because that makes me forget that I'm lost in this fiction. And Paul, the Greek word is sarx, S-A-R-C in the Greek, and it's flesh. And it's not just talking about meat, it's talking about the system. It's the same thing that Paul and Jesus and all them people was talking about. We just think we're modern. Actually, we're postmodern for any of you philosophers. But there's nothing new under the sun. Nothing.
Vanity.
Yeah, it's a vain. It's vain. It's empty. It's null. Null is a great word for it. Vanity, sometimes we think that's looking in the mirror too much. So, I mean, that's how it's translated in Ecclesiastes.
So all these like different, like Baptist, Methodist, like all, that's just a way of like separating us as like ingenuine, like in general Christian.
Yeah, but we do it. It's not somebody doing it to us. That's why it's a trap to be mad at the government. We are the government. But as long as I don't govern myself, somebody else is going to, because they make a stronger claim than I do. And that's law. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not the Illuminati's. Well, the Illuminati's doing what we want them to do. We want a beast. I mean, there are people wanting to get implants and upload their damn self into the internet now. That's the beast. Is the soulless system.
Would it be fair to say that we're only a representation of the government that's over us?
Yes, exactly. We are. We are it. We're not even represent. Our government is a representation of us.
Right.
Of people that don't want to govern themselves. Because we want somebody to blame. Like Adam and Eve did back in the get-go. Isn't that the same old. Okay? I mean, and you know, probably nobody here now, but there have been people through here that all they do is talk about Jesus and won't wipe up their own piss. And talk about them going to be clean. I'm getting out in the week, Mr. Till. What am I going to do? I say, same damn thing you did for the last 11 weeks. You know? Wipe your piss up and then let's talk about Jesus. Follow the rules you agreed to. Quit being little bitch boys. Man, my daddy. And that's not a whatever. But you as a free human being, creator of God, you're not going to go to hell for pissing in the yard. The hell part is you agreed to something and you refuse to govern yourself around that. It's Tim's fault. He don't like me. Or it's Josh's fault. He talks funny on the intercom. I don't like that bastard. When's volleyball? Hot dogs again? Shit. Come on.
Yeah.
Eat the fucking hot dog and shut up. You're living on $27 a day as a grown-ass man. You know? I mean, they don't have rehabs in Zimbabwe, boys. Because if you're retarded, you don't get fed. I mean, we live in a rich-ass country, baby. We get to come up here and stare at our neighbors for 90 days or whatever else hell we want to do. You know? But we don't govern ourselves many times and take advantage of that. Because once you get out there in the world again doing the thing, it's a little bit harder. You know? And all this is, or can be for you, is a virtual reality where you can practice some new things so that when you get out there, you'll have a little training. It's not, you know, learning these lessons ain't going to fix it. Damn, it's hot in here. What time is that, Larry? Or is it clock wrong? What time is it?
About 11:25.
Okay, so I can talk some more. Yeah, turn it on a minute. All right, does anybody have a thought before I keep running my pie hole? Or direction or question or something? And don't hear me dogging out churches. That's not what I'm doing. Okay? Yes, sir?
Last week, I just had a question and concern. You talked about dualism.
Mm-hmm.
Dualism in its pure sense means they're both equal to one another. Is that what you were implying, or?
No, I'm saying they're illusions. Dualism happens in the fictional world.
I just wanted to be clear where you were coming from.
And I use that language because we're not used to it. Because we say the same old religious shit all the time, and we just, let me go touch myself again. Or whatever that is for you. What I was trying to say, and I may not have done a good job, is what Paul was talking about in things I want to do, I don't do, and things I don't want. That's dualism. They're both an illusion. There is no good in that sense. There's no good in me in the sense that I'm whatever. So they are both equal. One of them gets you thrown in jail more than the other one. But that's in the game. Because, okay, when people talk about whatever makes up the universe, is it matter or spirit? Y'all ever heard people talk about that?
Yes.
As though they're separate. To think about is it matter or is it spirit is an illusion. Whatever you call spirit, energy, pattern, the golden ratio, whatever all that is, typically would be talked about as spirit, emotion, feelings. Feelings are just electrical impulses running through our biology based on what the chemicals are doing in us. Okay? And we vibrate at a certain frequency and we feel sick when we vibrate. And we feel fired up when we go to bathroom, you know. It's an emotional, it's a feeling experience. But there's nowhere you can find any matter that is not, that is present without form. Or energy or whatever. And you can't find any energy that's present without some kind of matter. To separate them out is a dualistic illusion. Okay, that's what I'm saying. They're not real. Because God didn't create me to be a good boy. Because I can't be. I mean, Paul couldn't, so I doubt I'm going to be able to. Jesus said, I ain't good. Why are you calling me good? There's nobody good except the Father, the Creator. And I don't think he was talking about good boy rules or bad boy. He was trying to get them to think in a different way. That you are as God made you. Except to the point where you become God of your own universe. And it's not in your theology one way or another. It's in your root, basic sense of who you are. Are you your father's son, your mother's son? Did Weird Uncle Harold somehow affect your creation, or weird Uncle Betty, or whatever. You know, you got to give the LBGXYZ folks a little bit. Weird Uncle Betty, that's who messed with you, wasn't it? Because ultimately, if we believe the stories, that's not us, is it? What needs to be redeemed and paid out upon is our soul that we've given to the fiction, to the false world. The anxiety-based, the whole thing's based on fear. Fear, you're going to be a bad boy and I'm going to whoop your ass. Fear, I'm going to fail. Fear, my electricity going to get turned off. Fear, the IRS is going to get me. Fear, the whatever. That's what motivates us in this system. Fear that I'm not going to get the shiny thing if I don't go sell 12 more this week. Fear I'm not going to get the trophy. Fear, whatever.
But you gotta live somewhere in that city. Like, you can't go out of here just, like, you have to live somewhere in the system.
Oh, wait a minute. You don't talk about me. You talk about you.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, we'll say I.
I would have to live somewhere in the system to be able to make money and stuff like that.
Yeah. That's why the Bible says, be in the world, yet not of it. It's not one or the other. That's an illusion. Duh. I mean, you can go to the mountains and make you a hut out of bark and eat fish and shit like you can. You know? People do it now. You know? They go down to South America and take some ayahuasca and never come back. They saw Gaia up in that shit and go, hey, I want to hang out, you know? And they learn how to go eat monkey meat and stuff. You can do that. Yes, you can do that without money. But the impulse to go, well, that's the tie to the system. That's the only way I can survive. That's the fear. As though surviving is the ultimate thing. It ain't. Neither is suicide. That's again trying to play God of a universe that don't exist outside your head. That's a refusal to accept who you are under God, a created being under God. I'm what my daddy said, I'm what my mama said, I'm what this government says. Ain't that what we talk about all the time? Y'all out on the porch, well, when I was raised, my mama, she was a lesbian Eskimo, and she only had one leg, and when she would walk me down the hall at school like this in her cowboy suit, you know. And it really fucked me up. And it was a red shiny cowboy suit, leather too, with one leg, and it was kind of folded up, you know, like this, with a big old safety pin that held that leg on there. And I'm not trying to minimize any of that pain. I've felt it, I feel it. But how many years and decades have you gone back through and through and through them same old scenarios? And if only I could get mama, or if only I could be a good boy. And you work and you get your ass real tight, and you get righteous. You know, and get a good haircut and fit into wherever you go to church. Because I think at Highlands you got to have pointy shoes to really be a member. And at Bethel, if you wear too good of clothes, they're going to look at you funny. So, you know, you got to fit in. And you go, this is the secret. This is the preacher. This is the book. This is the guru. And then again, you're like Dorothy after a while. And Toto pulls back the curtain and you go, oh, you fat little shit. You've lied to me. And then the wizard, if he's a good wizard, will say, no, baby, I'm not. Because she said, you're a wicked, wicked man. I'm going to another church. But the wizard's answer was very profound. He says, no, baby, I'm not a wicked man. I'm just not a very good wizard. I'm here trying to help the little munchkins out because they think they need a leader. You know? And Jesus said, there ain't no wizards. There ain't no gurus. There's no special guy touching God, which is totally against the whole kingship thing. The divine right of kings have ruled human beings for a long time. God made me better, or I got lizard blood, or whatever y'all been looking at on the internet. You know, with the little eyes. Because God's will for your life is freedom, prosperity. But not freedom and prosperity. I erased my thing, didn't I? Where'd I do that? Where's my little blue one? Right there. The fictional world. You got kings and dragons to slay, and that's all these myths that we're told. Again, it's not, don't hear me being dualistic. It's not either or. Thinking all the time is dualistic. You know, there's a part of you that this morning was growing hair and you didn't tell it shit. It just did it. There's a part of you that knows how to open your hand and close it, but you can't tell me how. You think you can because you get some neuroscientists to say this happens, that's just what happens. You ain't telling me how you do it. Something in you right now is making turds. You can't think your way into getting a hard on. It happens or it don't. I mean, you young boys may not understand all that, but you know, crack of dawn comes up and you, that's why I keep coming back to be still. Begin to get to know that person that says, I don't know how I got here. You can. You can. Because it's not the circumstances that put us in a place, it's us. We're doing it, and we keep repeating the same old story until we finally get enough knots on our head to start going, why did I do that? That's retarded. Because you're not going to get off heroin or whatever by going, because after a while your butt's going to relax and it's on. Well, we talked about the seed last week a little bit, about the seed don't have to go to a school to figure out how to become a tree. There is a very real, imminent, immediate sense that is the same as us. God didn't go here, now go make yourself. That Renaissance, I think it's Renaissance statue of the man cutting himself out of marble. You know what I'm talking about? That's beast. That's I make myself. That's false. We're stewards of ourselves and trustees of ourselves, just like we are in the world. And we can harm ourselves, be prosperous. We can do all kinds of stuff. But it's this. I mean, we're just the trustees. Does this make any sense of this distinction I'm trying to make? Because a lot of times in our anxiety we want to be good and right and God to love us as though He didn't already, which is kind of presumptuous on our part to think God don't love us. We're usurping God again. It's none of your business. You can't do nothing to make God not love you or love you. It's, nothing you do. You're powerless in reality. And many times what keeps us going in these patterns is our anxiety, and we're trying to fix something. If I can just fix something. Read more, talk better, shave, get a haircut, go to Highlands, go to Bethel, go. And God just says, be still. You can't fix what I made. You have no power to do that. And it sounds so simple and too easy that we dismiss it. If you learn to relax, y'all ever got, any of y'all got girlfriends or wives or stuff? Have you ever gone, boyfriends, whatever? Have you ever had a fight with your partner? And, or you drive up to your house and you can almost smell some shit's going on, you don't know why. And the logical part of your mind goes, I just need to keep my mouth shut. Because if not, we're going to be fighting till 2 o'clock this morning. Anybody ever had that? And you come in, you're going, and she goes, hey, and you go, wow, you're right, and it's on. Because you were so anxious. Right? We do that if we were to go, baby, what's wrong? I missed you. Even if we didn't mean it. The whole thing would have done, well, and let her talk and go, or whatever, how y'all, and just, oh. And let her get her anxiety out, or whatever. And she'll go, oh, you're so sweet. And then she'll give you some. But no, you're out fucking fighting till 2 o'clock in the morning, and you got cut off for 2 weeks now, unless she likes fighting makeup sex. But you can do that rough stuff without all the fighting. Save you 4 or 5 hours. If that's what you like. I love you. Praise the Lord. But if on the way to the house, or when you get to the house, you took 30 seconds and went, I'm not what the boss said. I'm not what mama says. I'm who God says. I do not have a spirit of fear, but power and love and a sound mind. And you get back inside, you reincarnate your body, because there's a sense in which, when we're all in our head, we don't even feel like we're in our body. Do y'all understand what I'm saying about that? Everything's and it feels chaotic, and most of us have learned different little tactics to kind of, some of us get quiet, some of us get loud, some of us get funny, some of us get mad, whatever that is. But it's all anxiety based. If I can make you shut up, I'll win, But no, because you didn't get none, you didn't win. Retard. What do you want? I want catfish like strawberries because I like them. No. You go figure out what the catfish wants, and that's how you get a fish. You don't go, bitch. What you need, baby? Old man told me one time, he said, boy, you have to understand, if you want pot roast in the evening, you got to turn it on before you leave and put it in the crock pot. You don't come home and go, that shit's froze. That's kind of on you. Again, unless you got some weird woman that just likes to get spanked before anything, that's whatever. Good for her. And that in itself can be redemptive with the right person. I've dealt with so many folks that have been abused in one way or another, and I'm not saying everybody is like this, but I know some people, when they finally got into a loving, trusting relationship, that weird stuff, they could do it and not feel like a whore, and it gradually dissipated. I have a lot of freaky conversations with folks. Does that make any sense though?
Yes.
Where you're working that stuff out and trying to reprogram who you think you are. So I knew a woman that had, I ain't even gonna say this bad stuff, and she liked to be choked, and we were talking about all that stuff. And she found a person that she loved, and it was weird for her because that was weird. She, in her experience, sex was something you did. And it was fun sometimes and not sometimes, so you had to go to love stuff to help out because you're bored with this shit, whatever. And but in her experience over the years with this person, they still did a lot of that. When it gained less and less and less, but there was something about starting from trust and acting that very intimate stuff out. Because when she was little, somebody used to choke her. I mean, it's horrible stuff. And there was some sense in which now as a grown person in a loving relationship, that was redemptive in some odd way. Does that make any sense what I'm saying? Because most of the freaky stuff it's rooted in trying to resolve that stuff. And it's not necessarily moral. It's just because it's not just I'm a freak, super freaky,
Shit is.
50 Shades of Grey was about that without the redemption. And all these housewives trying to work out their frustration on their dildo or whatever. If that dude would have been from Clanton, they'd have thrown him in jail, But he's a billionaire and he's pretty, so no, it's kind of hard. Rape me, please. Anyway, let me get off that. What was the point of that? The redemptive stuff. Because if we get, one of the things us thinking about does all the time is it keeps us never settled. Outside, we don't incarnate ourselves. We don't experience our connection to creation. Because we are part of creation, acting as though we're not. I mean, most of American culture probably would starve to death if they closed Publix. The woods is scary. Ooh. Dirt is dirty. Dirt ain't dirty. And there's this artificial life is more interesting than real life. Artificial intelligence is more and it's almost going full circle. So because we refuse to experience and acknowledge our participation as part of the created order that we can be in, we're looking for some kind of machine, some beast. I mean, it's the same thing that the children of Israel created a golden calf. They wanted this idol. But I don't know, think about that, y'all. Because I don't think Obama's the Antichrist or some dude at it, I think Siri is the Antichrist. You don't even have to figure out how to get nowhere no more. Siri? Hey baby, how you? What do I think about this? Where shall I go? Where's the restaurant? Can you upload me into you? So I can finally be in something? That's the beast, in my opinion. And there's nothing wrong with technology. It's like fire. It's like a hammer. It's just whatever. Because if you worship the hammer, if somebody had a church of the hammer, we call them retarded. Well, hell, you made that. Why are you worshiping what you made? Well, why are you worshiping the state? Why are you worshiping money? Why are you worshiping buildings? Why are you worshiping... I mean, I like air conditioning. It's one of my favorite things. You know? Why are you worshiping this image of yourself that you've made? Why do you keep calling yourself a crackhead? God didn't make crackheads. It's not who you are. That's how you tricked yourself into thinking you are. All things are what? Permissible, but not all things are profitable. God ain't mad at you because what'd you do, baby? You get back on the heroin or okay. God ain't going, you little fucker. Not at all. It's all things are permissible, but I don't think heroin's a very profitable enterprise. You know, in lots and lots and lots of ways. You know, it make you feel all cocooned there for a minute, you know, or whatever it does. But did we talk about this last time you was here, how even the impulse to want to feel that way is righteous in you?
I don't think so.
You think stupid. Listen. Does it make you feel peaceful without worry? Oh, now you think I'm trapping you. Just yes or no.
It was escape from reality.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't escape from reality. It was escape from the fiction you were living in. Reality's right there in your body. See, it's all backwards. We think the mirror is real and it ain't. I don't think there's nothing wrong to want to be peaceful and feel happy, and I think that what we established was God's kind of will for us to start with. That is a righteous impulse to want to feel happy and whatever. And it's even a happy impulse or a righteous impulse to want to get out of this shit. The only thing is with those substances, they keep us in it. Nothing wrong with the substance. It's just opium stuff, ain't it? God made opium poppies. Unless Monsanto got in there and did some shit, I don't know. Nothing wrong if you want to go. Anyway. But it's not what's profitable for you. As a steward of you, under God, what's profitable? Not you're a bad boy. That's retarded. That just being a bad boy keeps us in this. And y'all, this is the same stuff it says in the Bible. I'm just using different words. You know? Is we have to die to self, to sarks. You know? I am not this. Jesus didn't cling with Godhood, or cling to Godhood. He humbled himself and became one of us and all that. We cling to Godhood in our illusions that we're good men or bad men, or I'm 438. I'm not. I'm God's little boy and He likes me. He told me I'm His favorite. But I think He tells everybody that shit. You're not craving right now, are you? Why?
That's a good question.
Because you're not all up in your fucking head. You didn't have to take a pill or go run a lap or nothing. You chill. You're inside your body. You're present. You're in the moment. You're in the now. And I'm not saying go become Buddhist monks, because they do the same religious shit too. You better meditate and like it. I'm going to beat your ass. That kind of misses the point. You know? If you're trying to improve yourself, you're still playing God. How you going to improve on the acorn? You ain't. You're going to chill out and let God fix it. Because when you're right here, there's no danger of you stealing my camera. When you're all up in your head, I better watch your ass. Right? That's when what we call sins, which are just behavioral symptoms of the existential state of being called sin is. But you know, because you cannot steal cameras and still be fucked the hell up. You can be pastor in a church and tie the last tenth of your mint leaves and do all these little rules and be sicker than shit. You know? Or you could be running around with fish or Grateful Dead and be what'd you say, living out the Great Commission. That's what you talked about last week. You know? Not telling people what to do, but living it. Be disciples means we're disciples. We do what Jesus did, and we say, y'all want to do what Jesus did too? Okay. Not keep these rules. Because the law kills, Paul says, right? Because you can't. Not in your head, not in your ego, not in your false self, but when you are in yourself, related to God and yourself. Not your ego, I'm just talking about you. You're not stealing cameras. You don't need somebody to say, don't steal cameras. You know? Because the gangster part of you, I think God must like a little bit. He liked David anyway. And that was a gangster mofo. He fucked his best general's wife, knocked her up, and she texted him, babe, I'm late, you know. And he didn't go, oh Lord, I need to go to motion conference and sing about Jesus. Like I said, he got his black ops guys and said, look, come here. Go get him and tell him I love him so much that I want him to get hit it a couple times as a prize because I'm the good king. And dude comes back, and because he was so loyal to his men and to the kingship and the kingdom, he wouldn't even go into his wife. Maybe she had a big snaggletooth, something, I don't know. But he slept on the porch. And I can imagine that night David going, you know, pouring him some Israeli kosher wine and shit. Watching some TV, MMA or something, you know. Going, man, I dodged that bullet. You know, and he goes to sleep all peaceful and wakes up in the morning. Hey, baby, did you hit it? And she goes, no. What? And dude's already gone back to the battlefield. And David didn't go, oh God, I got to go to motion. I got to go repent. Maybe I got to go down front and get them to put some of that Crisco on my forehead. Maybe that, you know. I think Crisco would last longer than just the oil stuff, but you had little white lumps and stuff. It'd make the cross better though, and you could see it. What did he do? He goes, no, give him a black ops guys. Go kill that fucker. That's what the man after God's own heart did. Among lots of other stuff. Cutting up 100 penises and shit. Or what? Yeah, them. Now I guess he made one of them camper tents or something that you could rub on and it'd pop up or something, you know. I don't know. Made him some boots or something. Look, I got my foreskins on today, boy. gangster shit. And he was so gangster, he told the Philistine king, look, brother, because he walked in naked and acting like he was retarded and crazy. And he told the Philistine king, look, man, I hate them Hebrew folks. I'm going to go raid for you and kill them and get you stuff. And what David did, he went and stole the Philistine king shit and gave it to him. Lying fuck. You know, he wasn't just playing his little harp. You know.
So what made him a man after God's own heart?
He was a little bit crazy. He believed that God created him. He believed that he was beyond good and evil in the right sense of what I'm talking about. He believed, he was crazy enough to believe that I'm going to get something from that princess. Fuck the giant. Go back and read the story if you hadn't. David kills Goliath not because he just came from Motion Conference. David killed Goliath because when he got around his heroes, they were poor-mouthing about how big Goliath's sword was and shit. And one of them said, did you hear what the king's going to do for the man that kills Goliath? And David said, excuse me? Who is this uncircumcised Philistine that he should defy the armies of the living God? Because he was going to get to marry the princess and be free from taxes, which is another pretty imminent thing we deal with all the time, and a king. And he'd probably get to ride a horse because he would be a captain then, you know. I think that's what made him. He's crazy enough to believe and act on it, and he screwed the heck up. I mean, Joseph is crazy. Your fiancé you ain't even held hands with yet comes to you like right before the wedding and go, baby, I'm pregnant. God did it. You know, what you gonna do?
I was about to think about that.
Oh, well, the God did it. Okay. You need to come to me for some counseling. That's crazy. Abraham.
Took his son.
Okay, wait a minute. You ain't preaching today, host. Okay. I know you're all excited, but hear what I'm trying to say. Okay. That wasn't what I was talking about. Abraham heard this voice telling him to pack your shit up and go somewhere, and then when you get there, I'll let you know. And he was like, oh, okay, I guess. They'd have shot him up with a howl dog. Y'all ever been to mental hospital, anybody? Been around people that hears Jesus and God and stuff? They may be. But the system can't handle crazy shit. You got to fit in your role in your box. You got to believe right. You got to do right, act right. And you can be a convict or you can be a good citizen, which are both retarded. Citizen of what? Citizen of the kingdom of God. Jesus said he came not to bring peace but the sword. Who said we need to be a peculiar, strange people? If we're fitting in with a majority, we're probably going to bust hell wide open. And there's a lot of atheists that have good manners. Having good manners and doing certain good behaviors don't make you... Just like if you're, say, I'm a Christian and I have good manners and I have good behavior. So? Crazy. I believe. I'm going to get the Pentecost on you in a minute. Woo. You know? And he would screw up and he's just so crazy. I mean, he did some crazy shit. When his Bathsheba popped out that little tricycle motor, and the little fucker was dying, a little bastard. David was crazy enough not to eat and just big. And then the little shit died and he gets up and takes a bath. It's odd. Wonder where that would fit into the DSM-5. Jacob? All Jacob wanted was to be first once. And this big Jethro-ass brother goes, oh, okay, here's them beans. Esau was not a man after God's own heart. He's a little tardy. He was a man after his belly. You know, but all this stuff is real, y'all. It's real. And I'm sorry if I offended anybody's sensibilities with my use of symbolic utterances that we attach meaning, emotional and intellectual meaning to. I'm trying to get to the real part of you. Alright? Peace out, my crackers.